Fool me once, shame on, shame on me. Fool me, it's a shame. Is really, folks. In honor of the elections going on, the primaries taking place tonight. There's one in New Hampshire. This will air a few days after that, so you are in the future. You already know what happened. But the Dan K Show bringing you a little bit of an accent. But before we get too crazy about elections, I'm telling you why I'm talking elections, because there's a word founders, right? The founding fathers of the U.S. But what about the founding fathers of the USPHL? Those are the guys we're talking about, and those are the guys who have created a trophy just for you hockey fans, just for you USPHL fans. The Founders Cup is going to be given out to the number one team in the USPHL's premier division, the best division, the division that really has the premier athletes in the country. The USPHL Premier is going to have a Founders Cup champion for the first time in its history. And folks, this is a great battle to the finish. The Founders Cup, it's going to go to one of these four teams. The Islanders Hockey Club, currently sitting in first. The Boston Junior Bruins, who just beat that IHC team, sitting in second. Or the Kings and Hitmen, close behind, tied for third. Who's going to take it, folks? The winner will be able to hoist a cup. The winner's going to get a chance to meet me. I will be handing that cup to them. It is going to be an incredible rest of the way, an incredible rest of the season. And folks, we're going to be talking all Founders Cup today on the Dan K Show. The Need Cup champions, the Jersey Hitmen in Game 1. Josh Hankey. Josh, how you feeling after the win?
Shot stick away! Oh, what an
We almost went right into the Founders Cup. You know what? As Dan of the Dan K Show, the Dan K, I like to keep my people guessing, and we've gone a little out of order this week. We got to do our three things. Every week I have three things, and this week I think I have the easiest three things of all time. Here's a player, Anton Minyev. He's out of Russia, and Anton, if I said your last name wrong, I'm sorry. It is Minyev's fault. That's my fault, I believe, in Russian. But Anton's done a little something. He's had 3 goals, 3, count them, in 4 out of his last 5 games. That's 4 hat tricks in 5 games, folks. Look at all the hats being thrown for Anton Minyev, throwing them at our camera people. Anton Minyev, 4 hat tricks in 5 games, folks. Let's talk a little bit about this player and this Forest Lake Lakers team. The USPHL Midwest, it's been an incredible season thus far for the Midwest, but especially that Western Conference. You see 4 to 5 teams that could really take that title, and Anton Minyev is going to play a huge role. Let's look at his stats this year. 43 games played. A lot of games under his belt, right? He's probably got somewhere between 10 and 20 goals. You're wrong. This kid's got 39 goals and 36 assists in just 43 games played. This is an incredible offensive presence and a guy that has to make Forest Lake fans happy, excited, and just absolutely pumped, psyched for what is to come in these USPHL playoffs on the road to Boston. But let's step back a second. This guy got the first, second, and third on my 3 things for this week because he scored 3 goals. He scored 1, 2, 3 goals 4 times, 5 games. So he's got to be all 3 of our things. He's so hot. He is on fire. I had to bring my firefighting pooch with me here this week to put out the flames of Anton Minyev, one of the hottest players in hockey. Anton, you better calm down because if you keep scoring, Bernie Sanders might tell you got to give 90% of those goals to everybody else. Everybody needs goals. It can't just be Anton scoring. Everybody needs goals, and Hillary does not want to give you the goals. Once again, in honor of the elections going on and the primaries, I hope you're getting out to vote whatever state you're in, especially if you're in New Hampshire. I hope you got out to vote already because you're late if you're going today. But make sure you don't score too many goals like Anton Minyev. I'm taking 90% of them. Alright, folks, I'm going to try to calm down on my political humor. I know it's pretty good. I know it's pretty awesome. But you know what? someone that I kind of admire, that I admire not for at all the political backing of him, but just for the fact that he may be the only person in the world with an ego bigger than mine, and I don't know many people with an ego bigger than mine. I think 99% of the population much more humble, much more humility than I have, but this man does not. That's Donald Trump. And when we want to look at the teams, the Donald Trump right now, the front runner of it all is the Islanders Hockey Club. This is a squad. We're going to look ahead. We're getting into the Founders Cup race. We're down to the final 5 to 6 games for most of these teams. And as I scroll down the list, you're going to see an Islanders Hockey Club team that the rest of the way they have the Okanagan European Eagles, the Pal Junior Islanders, the Jersey Hitmen, and then 2 more bouts with the Pal Junior Islanders. This is 3 games against a Pal team that sits currently in 5th place. Pal looks like they've played their way out of the Founders Cup race, but they're still looking for a home playoff series in the first round, and they are going to have a lot to play for against this Islanders Hockey Club team. I think it's going to be a tough road the rest of the way. I see IHC taking 2 out of 3 from Pal. I think the Hitmen come into town, give them some trouble, but IHC has been able to take wins from them. Okanagan is going to be another game, could be a sneaky tough one. I think you see IHC go 3-2 down the stretch, and we'll see how that plays out with their competitors. The Founders Cup, though, it's up for grabs, folks. There's 4 teams right now within grabbing range of this trophy. Who's going to get it, and who's going to get it handed to them by yours truly? Are they going to touch it? All right, so we have IHC with 64 points atop the USPHL Premier. Now we go to a team who has the most games played out of these 4. They have 40 games played. The other 3 in contention have 39. That's the Boston Junior Bruins. But one thing the Bruins have working in their favor is a schedule against none. They're the only team left playing none of the teams in the top 6 in the standings. They are playing all teams from 7 and below the rest of the way. That should bode well for them on the win sheet, you would think. But in the USPHL, I think anybody can win on any night. One of those teams that can win on any night is the Connecticut Junior Rangers. I think that game, Friday, February 12th, my fiance's birthday. You have to remember that one. But I'm going to be sneaking this game. I'm going to be watching this game and trying to see just what the Junior Rangers can bring to the table to try to beat this Bruins team. If they do, it could throw a real wrench in the works for the Bruins. But as of right now, the Bruins looking to be in the best position, the pole position, to go get that first place prize, that Founders Cup. I think you look at a guy like, you look at a Charlie Kelleher, you look at some of the players down this roster, you look at the list, you look at the goaltending of a Brian McGrath, of an Ian Milosh, and this is a Boston Junior Bruins team that has the complete set to drive down the stretch here and grab a Founders Cup victory. You're going to have to see. You're going to have to watch to find out. We'll be talking more Bruins next week. Next up, it's the land of Toby Harris. We're talking Jersey Hitmen chances of winning the Founders Cup. Let's look at their schedule the rest of the way. The Hitmen sit just 3 points behind IHC, the Islanders Hockey Club. And you know what? Coach Toby Harris is going to have the toughest hill to climb of any team in the running here. He's going to have the Kings, the Picks, IHC, and 2 games against the Flyers coming up. Every single one of them on the road. Folks, you cannot talk about this league enough. You can't talk about the depth in the league enough. And when you're trying to go on the road in a league like the Premier and win 5 hockey games, which you're probably going to have to do with the Boston Junior Bruins playing the way they have down the stretch, winning 8 out of their last 10, the Hitmen have a tough hill to climb. If anyone can do it, it is them. They have now won their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. They've won their last 9 and 12 of their last 13. Sounds very reminiscent of a run they made last season when they won over 20 consecutive games en route to the Dineen Cup title. You always have to give a good chance to the Dineen Cup defending champs, the Jersey Hitmen. I think Toby Harris and leadership like Connor Broussard, the Condor, and Mr. Schmidt over there in Jersey are going to give them a real run for their money. And I'm not just saying that because they're the Hitmen. They are a solid squad and a team to be reckoned with down the stretch. Although the schedule working against them right now, we'll see what the Hitmen can do in their run for the Founders Cup. finally we go to a team in the South Shore Kings, a team I don't see getting this Founders Cup. I don't know if they're going to be able to hoist it. I think that they're going to just have too much of a hill to climb, the same way the Hitmen fall into. 3 points back right now of IHC. IHC is going to have to drop some games for the Kings to make it, and they're going to have to win out. They are at home for their final 5 games. That's going to be key with the Kings Showcase coming up this weekend, and then following that, a 2-game home series against the Rochester Junior Americans. This team sees Rochester 3 times, Connecticut once, and Jersey. That is going to be the game to watch. Friday night is the night for USPHL hockey. If you're not on fasthockey.com watching these games, then you better be at them, because Jersey Hitmen versus South Shore Kings is going to be a game. Whoever loses that game is out of the running for the Founders Cup. You cannot lose that game and win this cup. Who will win that game? You look at the South Shore Kings, and one thing I'll tell you about them is that they are my favorites to make a deep run in the playoffs. I mean, you look at the roster right now. They already had Teddy Lobero, who is so good in net that he covers an entire city. He's so good in net that they've named a town after him, Lobero. And you add into that Jeff Hextall on the bench now, a backup goaltender who's gone 6-0-1 since joining the Kings from the Flyers in a trade, and a guy who is dominating. He has now been a star of the week as the goaltender 3 times, once with the Flyers, twice with the Kings. He's had 3 shutouts in his first 7 starts with the team, and he has been an unstoppable force. He has hexed them all. Jeff Hextall, 2 hex tall of an order in net. And you have these 2 goaltenders with the Kings, and when you have a hot goaltender, you have a good team come playoff time. This is a team, I don't see them getting the Founders Cup, but I do see them making a deep, deep run towards a Dineen Cup title. Prove me wrong, Kings, and we'll see if you reign come the end of this season. I'd love to hand you the Founders Cup. Folks, that does it for our breakdown of the roads to the Founders Cup. We're trying to give you each team's road map that they're going to have to take in order to take this cup. We're going to watch some hockey this weekend, and we are going to be one matchup away, one weekend away from crowning the Founders Cup champions, the winners of the regular season and the Premier. Lucas and I are going to be back on the mic together next week talking all Founders Cup all the time. We cannot wait to see who's going to take it all throughout the USPHL. You see parity aplenty, teams with chances, teams with places to go. If you're not able to watch, then you better read up Kleiner's 7 Things each week, and you better check back in with the Dan K Show. Watch the Dan K Show. We will keep you up to date with what's happening, scores, updates, highlights, everything you need to know here at the Dan K Show, folks. We love that you watch. We love that you keep watching, and we love that you love USPHL hockey. I want to let you know, I need your help, though. This is how we're going to end the show. We go into the empty net each week. Instead of the empty net, I'm going to ask you for help. This is Dan K's Beg for Help of the Week. I need you to go on Twitter, to go on Facebook, or to find fasthockey.com and vote for yours truly in the hashtag broadcaster battle for fasthockey.com. Folks, we can't let any of these other leagues win. I am the only representative of the USPHL right now. I am the man to be nominated, and we need to battle with these other leagues. We need to go out there and get a USPHL broadcaster in the top 16 for the broadcaster battle. And if you want to vote for one of your broadcasters, vote for me, and then tweet me that you voted for me and what broadcaster you want to vote for. I've gotten a bunch of tweets from the Chicago Cougars who like Mr. Chris Labasco. I worked with Chris on a game, on a broadcast, and Chris is an incredible announcer, an incredible person, and a future talent. The next Doc Emmerich, if you ask me, he did an incredible job. I had a fun time working with him, and he at least said to my face that he liked me. So if you want to vote for guys like Chris Labasco, you want to vote for guys like the South Shore Kings, wonderful announcing broadcast team, if you want to vote for all of your favorite broadcasters in the USPHL, then that's a vote for me, Dan K. Vote for me, Dan Kemchek. If you see the last name with the K and the funny face on the picture there, touch the face with the pointer, vote for it, hit save at the bottom of the screen, and let's try to win the USPHL, the fasthockey.com hashtag broadcaster battle. Folks, once again, for the Dan K Show, I've been Dan K. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you enjoy the final few weeks of the race for the Founders Cup. Till next time, it's always hockey night when Dan K is on the mic.